It starts quietly, like a slow erosion. You're a child, too small to understand but old enough to sense something's wrong. A parent breaks down, not always with violence, but with absence. And somewhere inside you, a silent vow is made: I'll hold it all together. This is how childhood ends before it begins. You become what they need before you know who you are. A quiet fixer. A careful listener. An invisible protector. You trade your needs for survival, and no one even notices. They call you mature. They call you strong. They praise the mask you wear, not knowing it's stitched from fear. And no one asks what it's costing you to be okay. What you experienced has a name: parentification. When the child becomes the caretaker, the emotional stabilizer, the unspoken adult. It's not just a burden. It's a rewiring. Your brain learns chaos as normal. Your heart learns silence as safety. You begin scanning the room like a radar. Hypervigilant. Alert. Careful. You believe love must be earned through peacekeeping. That your pain is a threat and their pain is your responsibility. So, you vanish emotionally. You become the achiever, the quiet one, the helper. Everyone sees your performance. No one sees your disappearance. Even you forget there was ever someone behind the mask. But inside, something still aches. A child never held, never asked, "Are you okay?" That child never died. They just went underground, carrying unmet needs into adulthood. Still waiting to feel safe. You grow up, but the wounds grow with you. You avoid asking for help. You flinch at kindness. You don't trust happiness, it feels foreign, even threatening. Rest feels dangerous because productivity is your proof of worth. You're stuck in survival mode but don't even know it. Because dysfunction was your first language. Calm feels suspicious. Stillness feels unsafe. And love? Love feels like a debt you're afraid to owe. This is more than sadness. It's trauma. A blueprint burned into how you relate, how you love, how you breathe. You didn't just grow up fast, you adapted to survive. Why would any child choose this role? Because connection means survival. Even if it means disappearing. A child will trade authenticity for attachment every time. This isn't weakness. It's intelligence. Your nervous system made the smartest choice it could. To be good. To be useful. To be whatever made them stay. But what saved you then may be suffocating you now. You may look high-functioning now. But underneath, an abandoned child still pulls the strings. The one who had no room for mistakes. The one who's still waiting for someone to say, "You don't have to do this alone." You overachieve to earn love. You stay quiet to avoid conflict. You take care of everyone, hoping someone will finally care for you. But no one sees the cost of your strength. That dream of breaking down and being held. It doesn't belong to your adult self. It's your inner child still whispering, "Please let me be small. Just for once." Healing doesn't start with doing. It starts with witnessing. Because you can't fix what you still deny. You must look back and say, "Yes, that happened. And it hurt." You've told yourself, "Others had it worse. It wasn't that bad. I turned out fine." But fine is just a mask, and you know it's cracking. So what happens to that child when they grow up? They become adults who never feel safe. Lovers who fear tenderness. Friends who give everything and ask for nothing. You flinch when complimented. You apologize for crying. You confuse exhaustion with success. This is what a childhood of survival creates. If you were trained to be strong at all costs, you may have lost access to softness. You may fix others while staying fractured, and wonder why love still feels so far away. You inherit an adulthood of holding your breath, waiting for someone to give you permission to rest, to feel, to fall apart without being punished. But here's the truth no one told you. No one's coming to rescue that child. You are the one who must return. You are the one who must say what no one else did. You didn't deserve that. You were just a child. You get to rest now. Not because you've earned it, but because it's always been your right. This is the beginning of shadow work. Not fixing. Not bypassing with forced positivity. But turning inward and saying, I see you now. I won't leave. The grief may feel unbearable, but that grief is not weakness. It's proof you're finally thawing. What was frozen is beginning to move. You'll feel sorrow for birthdays no one remembered. Tears for the innocence you lost protecting the ones who failed to protect you. You'll mourn the childhood you never lived. And that mourning is holy. You'll notice how your adult life still echoes those patterns. You're the therapist in every friendship, the caretaker in every relationship. And yet, you never feel truly seen. People praise your independence, but it's not freedom, it's fear. A fear of being too much, too messy, too needy. So you stay silent and call it strength. You overfunction, always managing, fixing, over-explaining, and then feel resentment no one understands. But they don't see the child still trying to earn love. Boundaries feel impossible. Saying no feels like betrayal. But these are not personality flaws. They are the residue of survival. These behaviors are not who you are. They are strategies your nervous system chose to survive. And the good news is, anything learned can be unlearned. But to unlearn survival, you must stop worshiping your strength and start honoring your wounds, the parts you hid to keep going. Ask your inner child, what did you need that no one gave? The answers may be simple, but their weight will feel enormous. You'll hear things like, I needed someone to say it wasn't my fault. I needed to be asked how I was doing. I needed to play without fear. And slowly, you give those things to yourself. Not to fix the past, but to stop reliving it. This is how the cycle ends. You stop seeking parents in your partners. You stop mistaking anxiety for intuition. You stop fearing the very peace you crave. Carl Jung once said, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. We'll do anything to avoid our soul. But healing requires we turn and face it. That means facing the neglected, the ashamed, the scared. Not to judge, but to understand. Because healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's remembering who you were before the mask. If you grew up too fast, your maturity isn't the problem. The problem is that you never had a choice. But now, you do. You can choose softness. You can choose to rest. You can stop managing everyone else's emotions and start listening to your own. No, it won't be instant. There will be days you feel small again. Good. That means the child in you is finally safe enough to return. Let them cry. Let them be held. Let them finally be seen. Because you're not broken, you're becoming whole. And for the first time, you're growing up the right way. Not through fear, but through truth. You never had a childhood, but you still have a future. And this time, you get to write it. So if you feel tired, not just in your body, but in your soul, it's not laziness. It's the weight of carrying a childhood you never got to live. Let that weight fall. Let the mask slip. Let the child be heard. Let yourself begin again. Healing is slow. Sometimes it looks like breaking. Sometimes it sounds like silence. But underneath, something real is taking root. You are not too much. You were just never given enough. Enough love. Enough protection. Enough time to be small. But now, you give those things to yourself. The story changes here. Not because it erases what came before, but because you finally have the pen, and your hand no longer shakes when you write. So breathe. Not like someone preparing to fight, but like someone who's finally allowed to rest. You're safe now. In your home.